Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. One of my most favorite videos. It's because I had to think so hard. It's Optima's Where to Start. And what we do is we break down 3 lakes of where to start in the month of September. And the lakes that I break down are ones that you send in through the comments. And by leaving a comment, you'll have a chance to win a battery at the end of this video like we do every month. You guys stay tuned. I got 3 really interesting lakes coming at you. Okay, so I went through all the comments last month, and man, you guys sent in some great lakes. Great lakes, like just, and one thing about it is, I probably need to compile a list sometimes because I get a lot of lakes that I've broke down at least once, and some of these lakes I've started to break down twice. We've been doing this for a while. So I always like to try to find new lakes, ones that I haven't broke down, and I realize like lakes fish differently, you know, if I break a lake down in February versus September. So we'll start doing that some more. So don't hesitate sending me that lake. If you've got a certain month you want me to break it down, you know, send it the month before. I really do. I go through every one of those comments, and that's how I pick the winner. Is just, man, I go down through there and randomly pick a winner, and I will get to that at the end of this video. But with that said, the first lake that I'm going to break down today is a lake that, man, it's kind of a neat lake. It's Joe Pool Lake, right in the heart of the DFW Metroplex. That's Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It's relatively a new lake. It's been built in my lifetime. You know, there's not been a lot of lakes built in my 47 years of living. And I believe this lake was built in my lifetime because I used to live in North Texas, and I always remembered hearing about this lake being built at that time frame. So some really good Google photos on that. We're going to break that down. I'm going to zoom in, zoom out a bunch on that. I've got some good stuff on my C-map. The next lake we are going to break down is Lake Macatawa. I hope I said that right. Mike Velder sent that in to me from Michigan. Interesting lake. I'm going to like that. That lake actually connects to Lake Michigan. And then the last lake, Michael Howell sent in Buckhorn Lake, North Carolina. Another cool lake. I think I may have fished Joe Pool one time. I don't think I fished the other 2, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And what I do in this video is I just, kind of like I get ready for a tournament. I sit there and I study these maps, and it's just, man, I'm trying to give you guys a spot to drop that trolling motor off the bow of your boat or walk to the bank, I guess, or a kayak, whatever it is you're doing, and where to start. Like, it's just the name of the video. It's a starting place, a place hopefully you can get a bite, get your confidence up, and just go from there, develop a pattern. And I try to break down why I picked that spot, or 2 or 3 spots on each given lake, and what I'm thinking when I go to do that. So let's look at Joe Pool right here. When I zoom out, I always want to look at a lake and how it lays. So this map right now is sitting due north. So if you look at it, a southwest wind is going to blow right up this thing, you know, and that's a predominant wind in Texas. So maybe you're sitting there saying, man, I don't fish Joe Pool Lake, I live in Indiana. Okay, but you can take that principle of what I'm saying right there, your predominant winds. Think about that when you're going to look at your lake, and especially this time of the year. Oxygen content gets at the absolute lowest into the summer, first of the fall. Wind generates oxygen, but think about that. Think about that on your local lake. And when I kind of, you know, zoomed in and looked at this thing, and I've got my C-map set to different colors here for different depths, one thing that kind of stood out to me right here, it looks like it's an old, where did it go? Oh, right here, an old pond dam. You know, when I zoom in right here, you know, I've got 11 feet, I've got 20 feet. I'm going to have a hole right here, a really sharp drop right there. And, you know, there's fish. There's a big group of fish that are deeper this time of year. Like, they don't all go shallow. There's, you know, that's what happens in the fall. A lot of fish suspend. I like that because you've got wind going to be pulling across that, you know, with that southwest wind. It's going to be dirtier water, you know, coming off this flat back here. I got deep water really close. I also feel like, let's really open a can of worms here. For years, I was under the assumption that bass moved to the backs of creeks to feed in the fall. I think I was wrong, along with everybody else. I think what happens in the studying and the fishing across the country, yes, you can go to those backs of those creeks in September and catch fish, but the reason I think we catch more fish there is because I think that water cools off faster because there's less water volume in the backs of those creeks, thus triggering those fish to feed more. All that right there. That's why I think, you know, that water's shallower. I think that maybe it has better oxygen content. I think that's why we've caught fish back there. So when I say the backs of creeks, I don't think there's a big fall migration, and I just don't. But I think that water cools faster. And with that said, I've got a big flat back here. This could be a little bit cooler water, 1, 2, 3 degrees cooler. It doesn't take much to trigger a bite, more of a daytime bite, you know, this time of the year. So I like that spot. It really kind of stands out to me, and that would be a spot. So if we were to put it like a waypoint right there, I mean, I like that. It says it's 246 nautical miles from my house. Huh. Anyway, that's it right there. So looking at this lake a little bit further, I want to get into Google Earth here and look at a few things there. There's lots of great looking stuff on this lake, you know, offshore cover, it looks like to me. You know, some of these points right here stand out where it goes 22 to 32 feet really, really quick. This point right here looks really good. It's a lot like that last point. It sticks out. You're going to have southwest wind blowing across it. It's not quite as far back up in the creek, but it's just a long, flat point, and those are things that stick out to my mind this time of year especially. So that would be a high percentage spot to start. Let's go over here to the lake itself on Google Earth. I want to see if I can see that on this map. Nope, I can't. But I do have added power lines going across there. Let's see if we got a low water photo. So I'm just scrolling back through time, just trying to see if we got a low water photo. I got flooded photos. You know, with all that said, Dallas just got a lot of rain. And when I looked up the water level of this lake, it's come up just a little bit, but it's not high. It's not above conservation pool. So I don't feel like the bushes or any of that stuff's going to come into play. But I do feel like maybe some fresh water coming into the lake would definitely come into play. So that would be something that I would look at when I'm looking at this lake and looking at these different areas on the lake, is just thinking about that fresh water coming in from that rain. All right, so I've marked a couple spots here. I've got 2 there. Got 1 there, all main lake stuff. So let's go through them real quick, and I want to show you why I marked them. This spot right here, it looks like to me it's just on that southwest side. It is a roadbed coming out on a nothing looking bank. You got some scattered timber, you got a hard spot here, you got mud on the side. So when I fill the lake up, you really can't see it. You can't see that spot out there. It's going to be on your maps. It's probably on my C map, but to me that's a high percentage spot, and that's all I'm looking for. You know, I could throw a topwater across it in the morning. I could drag a football jig, stand-up worm, square bill on it. It's just a high percentage spot, and that's all I'm ever looking for on a place to start, is to get that first bite of the day, for you to get a bite to get your confidence rolling. That's what it's about. That spot stuck out to me. When I moved down the lake a little bit more, I've marked another one right here. And what's special about this spot is I've got 4 isolated stumps right there off the bank. That's a high percentage spot, guys. I don't care what lake you are in the country. You have nothing else down that bank, this way or that way, and I got 4 stumps that stick on a point out in the lake. So to me, that's a very high percentage spot. So if I'm to keep looking here on C-Map and looking around here, let me show you another spot right here. Okay, going on down the lake, and this next spot that I've marked is right here next to the dam, and let's just see what it is. A lot of times in the fall, I love running isolated cover. Like just as much shallow isolated cover as I can, because it's high percentage. You know, we've talked about a little bit of fish being deep. There's obviously going to be fish shallow, But to me, this looks really interesting. It is something like an old dock, rock pile. You know, a fish could be up here shallower, one could be out here deeper. We've got a brush pile right here next to it. You know, it's something very peculiar, but it's high percentage. When I fill the lake up to normal level, you can't really even see that stuff. You can barely see it right there, but that would be a high percentage spot, guys, and that's the stuff I want. I want something I can pull up to quickly, throw a square bill across it, cast a shaky head out there. I think I could get bit on that spot right there. Going a little further on the other side of the lake, I love this main lake stuff shallow this time of year. I just think it's very, very productive. And there's just an isolated rock pile right here. You got clay banks all the way up and down here. And, you know, I'm assuming this is an old house foundation or some sort of rock outcropping. But when you fill it up, you can't even see that it's there. And I believe that lake right now is at full pool. You can barely see it right there in that Google Earth photo underneath the water. Again, a square bill spot, a spot that I could make a few casts on and catch a fish fairly quick. And that's all I'm looking for. I think I marked one more on here. And again, it's Main Lake, and in the state of Texas this time of year, you know, heck, I just like it. You know, I just fished a cup event that you guys might have watched, the Major League Fishing Cup event, and it was right here in this area of Texas, and man, I caught them really good on Main Lake rock. I mean, I finished second, had a chance to win, lost a big old fish, but that's how I caught them, just throwing a shaky head and a square bill, you know, on this Main Lake rock. And this is just a high percentage spot. It's just a riprap point that sticks out right there. I could crank it in 5 minutes and move on to the next one. And you know, if you watched my top 3 baits video, you know, we talked about covering water in that video. And as you can see, those spots that I've marked, I'm covering water, you know, with the exception of that deep one here that I told you about on the C map. You know, that's going to take you a little time to fish anything deep. It's not just a 3-4 cast, move on. Those other kind of spots like that, to me, are very high percentage spots because I can hit them quick, rotate them, hit them a couple times throughout the day. So those are some spots on just where to start on the Great Joe Pool Lake. Thank you, Jerry, for sending that to me. All right, the next lake we are going to do, we're going to switch gears here big time, and we're going to go north. Okay, so here's an overview of Macatawa Lake. That's how I would say it. You guys will correct me for sure, but you can see it's got a canal that connects out to Lake Michigan. So obviously you have a huge influx of smallmouth that would spawn in here early in the spring. It's just a given. I feel like a lot of those fish are going to transition back out to the lake. They're going to summer out there, may winter out there, but then I think they're coming back in for the fall, in my experience on some of the other lakes that I fish. So when I look at this, you got a channel, a dredge channel all the way through it. There's a couple spots that stick out to me when I really look at it. Obviously, the number one spot to me is this narrow channel right here in Macatawa at the Holland State Park. And why that sticks out to me is I don't care what time of the day, year, whatever, there's going to be some form of current. Those Great Lakes have their own tides almost, and that current's going to be going in, going out, just because there's going to be wind somewhere on Lake Michigan, and it's just going to be a high percentage spot. When you look at it right here on Google Earth, it just is. It's a narrow neck down, and you know, I'm going to fish, you know, the corners of these like this corner right here is going to be high percentage. You get out here, this corner here could be high percentage. That corner here, just drifting down that could be high percentage. Right in the center of this channel, especially in this turn right here. You know, anywhere you have current that turns. So when I look at that, if you pretend that current's rolling this way, and bam, it's got to hit that wall and then come this way, right in here, there's going to be a sweet spot out through there that you could, you know, drift a drop shot down through there if that current's really ripping, or cast that drop shot. To me, that's just the number one most high percentage spot, you know, on that whole body of water. Man, look at that house right there. That's quite a house. I guess that's a house. That's a big old house. It'd be a neat place to live. Okay, so then we're coming back in here. I've got marinas. I've got isolated boat docks. We've got a big point. It's called Big Bay. The right-hand side of Big Bay, it's got a monster point. I'm showing 3-4 foot of water coming out. I mean, this is like awesome looking. It's what you would look for. I mean, fish could spawn, feed, live their whole life. They've got deep water super close by. You know, the smallmouth are going to come in here and spawn on that, but now if you got largemouth in here, they're going to be somewhere on that point. You know, on this edge here, this deep edge here, you know, think about current coming across this point right here. I just like this. And then if I don't find them out here, bam, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to fish these 10 docks on this point, because this big point's such a drawing card for a big amount of fish. Then I just go up here and I fish these shallow docks. To me, that's just a really, really high percentage area. Okay, let's go a little bit further. There's another really neat looking point right here. If I caught them back there, I would definitely fish that one. But I want to talk about one more spot here on Lake Macatawa. I like saying that. That's a fun name to say. I like how this creek is coming in the back. So when you look at this here, I got some photos here that I saw that drew my attention to it. So I've got flowing water, cooling water that's going to be coming in, high oxygenated water coming in back here. I've got lots of grass, so a good spawning habitat back here. Somewhere in this zone, let me just zoom out and look at this a little bit further. You can really see that flowing water right here. There is going to be fish. I assure you. Whether it's the bridge pilings right here, whether it's down this neck right here, these seawalls. I think about that sun. This side's going to be in the shade, you know, until about noon, 1 o'clock. It just looks interesting to me because you have a big body of water here and it necks down. You also have a big major boat ramp right there. If there was tournaments, there's going to be lots of fish released. I've got an isolated dock right there. I could run over there and fish that isolated dock really quick. It's just a real high percentage spot in my opinion, just because of all the water that funnels down to a small area, water coming out, a bridge piling. You know, I've also got a pumping station right here of some sort that it is going to have a pipe coming out. It may be right here, it may be underneath this, but you could idle down through there and find this pipe coming out. It looks like also right over here, they're probably sucking the water in. I found a photo over here somewhere where it looked like the water was also going to the other side. It'd be something else to think about. You know, anytime you got those pumping stations, those water quality deals, there's always going to be a pipe out in the lake. So neat place. I appreciate you sending that in, Mike. The docks would also be a big drawing factor for me in September. Just shallow docks on the tips of those points. You know, any of these right here, these, it's just a good pattern this time of the year up far north like that they will get on those shallow docks. So try that out too. Okay, last lake. Buckhorn Lake, North Carolina. Michael Howe. Let's go to that one. I think yeah, I'm going the right direction. Okay, here we go. Buckhorn Lake. This was a fun one to do because I had a really good photo of it. Just interesting lake when I look at it here. So I'm going to zoom out and show you this lake. It has got so much structure in it. It is cool. So that is the current photo. I can go back and find a little bit older photo with a lake that's full, like plumb full. It's got just all kinds of natural shoreline to it. It looks really, 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 really neat. So I marked a few areas here and I'm going to show you why I marked them. This spot right here, if I was to zoom in on it, the drawing card for me is I've got a really nice road bed here. Super nice, super nice road bed. It's going to house fish. You got grass everywhere it looks like. And I'm assuming y'all's water's up to a normal level. This is all going to be grass right up here. Well, right here is a old house foundation rock pile something. That's going to be a clean spot. You know, when this lake's full, that's completely under the water. So right there, you can't even see it. That's the exact same spot right there. That is going to be a spot that I think I catch fish out of year-round and in September. I just liked it. I just thought it was a cool spot. I'm going to keep going here. I marked a few more. Look at that road bed right there. How cool is that? I didn't mark that one, but you could catch fish there. Great topwater spot early in the morning. You know, if I had 2-3 foot of water over that, I'd throw my jaywalker down that. It would be a great spot to get a bite early in the morning, I feel like. Another road bed coming in right there. What else did I mark on here? Oh, wow, look at this road. Oh, look at this roadbed. Look at that creek right there that turns right there on that roadbed. So you're gonna have a hard bottom, drops right off. You talk about a fall time, winter time spot, that's gonna be really good. This cut's gonna be good. That cut right there, that little hump right there, might be the best one. That little bitty spot right there, really good looking spot. Another house foundation. You guys have no shortage of offshore stuff on this lake to fish, and I think it's got grass. Okay, right here I marked something. I marked this because I think it's a house foundation, but I think also when you look at this map, I've got a big flat back here. I've got this creek that comes out and makes a bend right there next to that. So it's got a drawing factor of the creek making an outside bend, a hard spot. It's really a hidden bank, like, you know, when the water's full, you know, you always like to try to find the least obvious stuff. When you look at that bank right there, there's just nothing, you know, you got a point here and a point here people are gonna fish, but that is not a drawing card as a point, but there's a rock pile there. And that's why I would choose that as a place to start. All right, let's go one more here. Oh, this just looked phenomenal. So I think from this photo, the water's 5, 6, 7 feet low. This to me would have 2 to 4 feet of water at normal level. Just look at these rock piles out here on this hump. You know, it's on a big shallow flat. Would be a great spot to throw a buzzbait, a jaywalker across early in the morning. I thought it looked really, really good. One last spot. You know, we talked early in this video about the water cooling down quicker in the backs of creeks, you know, in the fall. Well, right here is a really high percentage spot, in my opinion. I've got a road going across this flat. I've got the old bridge right here. I got a culvert right here. You know, somewhere on there, I feel like there could be some fish. You know, it's just a really high percentage spot. I'd throw my hard head down through there, throw my square bill down, you know, across that road. Cool lake. I would love to know from you, Michael, if I hit any spots that are any good. If you'll leave me a comment down the road, or anybody else that fishes that Lake Buckhorn. That's a cool looking lake. It's a fishy looking lake with all that grass in it too. So hopefully that grass is still living. That's an older photo that's got it. All right, guys, so that's my September where to start. I hope it helps you pick a spot to start on your local body of water. Because a lot of this, a bass is a bass, no matter where we're at in the country. You know, they're all the same. They're just, the bodies of water might be different, you know, but from each one of these videos, I try to do a different lake each month, and I pick those lakes just from you guys leaving comments. And by leaving a comment, you have an opportunity to win an Optima battery. It's just an awesome deal that Optima Batteries is doing for the channel. And with that said, Daniel T., you are last month's winner. I want to thank you for leaving the comment. You just said something along the lines of, you enjoy these videos, and July was a tough month, and hope in August is better. Buddy, my July was a tough month too. So Daniel, just send me an email through my website. Real simple, Edwin Evers, I don't know, you know my website. Just go to Edwin Evers Fishing, and when you send me that email, I will respond to you with a battery certificate. We've got this system streamlined here lately, and you'll get it right away. So I appreciate you leaving that comment, guys, and it's that simple. Just leave me a comment. Tell me what you're going through. Tell me a lake to work on next month for the month of October. And hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That helps me a bunch, guys. I wish you the best. Here's to good fishing. And God bless you guys. Have a great week.